Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures on what is actually a really drenched day here in Yorkshire. We've had lots of rain overnight and well, it's just preventing me slightly from being on the allotment this morning, but I've made it eventually. The rain has stopped, but it's just damp and chilly and well, one of those mornings really. However, I've started. Things are moving on. We've moved this frame here from over there, and also you can tell there's the edge of the greenhouse frame. What's going on? Well, I'll tell you all about it. So sit back, relax, and welcome once again to Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Well, here I'm inside my frame, and as you can see that the top part is still uncovered, but I've started, and the back part has now got a cover on it. And you know, I was so surprised when you order this plastic polythene online. You never realise actually how properly thick it is, and this is absolutely brilliant. This is real true polytunnel plastic, brilliant stuff. It's really tough, fantastic. Now, I bought an 8 metre by 6 metre length of polytunnel plastic, which means the full cover here from that side right across to this side is 5 metres, 2.5 metres a side. It means I've got a 1/2 metre either side on the ground, so I can put lots of soil on it or bricks just to hold it down, and then it'll be put into place. I've used gaffer tape, believe it or not. This was very expensive, special gaffer tape that's fully waterproof, all those things. However, it's rubbish at sticking. I don't know why. Bizarre, isn't it? You think it'd be really ultra sticky, but it's not. So I'm going to go and buy some really cheap gaffer tape because that really is ultra sticky, and then we'll gaffer tape the rest on. The top part will go on last because the last seal has to go over the edge so no water comes into the inside, and then we can finish it off. Whilst I was doing it yesterday, I was about to put this head on, and I thought, well, I need something to draft through, because once it's fully covered, it will be like a polytunnel really, but a polytunnel with, like my last one actually that I used to have down on the ground. It only had one way in for the air to get in. There was no ventilation at the end. It's got ventilation at the sides lower down, but actually they were a bit rubbish, didn't really allow proper true ventilation, because it can get over stuffy, it can get a bit moist, and then of course it creates mold within your polytunnel, which is not what you want really. You need a good flow of air at times, a bit like an automated vent in a greenhouse. We need some here. So what I've done is I took all this end piece off of the greenhouse, and I should have done it before I moved this. Never thought of that, you see, thinking of us. And I've got a door here, which means I can open it up and we can have a great big through air. Now what I'm going to do, I've got some fine meshes, you know. I will put a fine mesh around here so that when the door's open, nothing can get actually in the greenhouse, but we can get lots of ventilation out. So it's coming along very nicely. It's rather lovely, and I'm very excited to carry on with the rest of the project. I just need a really good dry day now, because I need to dry all the frame off. It's been constantly raining since I finally made it down to the allotment. But yes, please, if I could have one nice sunny day, we can complete the frame. The trials of filming here on the allotment. Well, yesterday I did a whole film, the opening section, which has actually worked. Hello and welcome, that one. And then everything else that you see today, I filmed yesterday. Got in the house, started to edit the video, and the rest of it, all 4 different films, had no sound on. It's just me jabbing away. And this microphone decided to turn itself off. And so that wasn't very good. I think there must have been some lack of communication between the phone and the microphone, and it turns itself off. I've checked, and I've got a little green light on this, which is fantastic, which hopefully means we're recording. I'm in the greenhouse because I love this time of year, but it's about preparation, about what you're going to do and how you're going to utilize different things. And you know me, I like things for free. And a really good organic excuse me, booster to your compost, to your compost bin, to around your plants, is a real simple hack. It's something that adds calcium, it adds nutrients to the soil, and it's free. It's a byproduct of something we use in the house to eat. Now, have you guessed yet? It is, and I've got some in here, fresh from the house. Ta-da! Yes, eggshells. Eggshells are really, really brilliant use around the allotment here. Now, what you must do is make sure these are nice and clean if you are going to use them around the allotment and or your growing space, whatever. So I've always put mine in the oven. It's a lot easier for me. People, you can wash them out. You know, if you want them cleaner, you can wash them out. And well, yeah, fantastic thing. So what can we use them for? Well, there's lots and lots of uses. I'll come to tomato plants in a minute because they absolutely love them. But I'll talk you through tomato plants. As I said, you can just sprinkle them around. Now, there's different ways of doing this. Actually, you can either, like I've done here, you grind it just with your hands in a plastic bag. Just make sure that they're all nice and squashed up into loose eggshell bits like this one. Rather lovely, and they can just be sprinkled around the top of your plants. You can actually sprinkle them into the soil around plants, around where you're growing, and you can put them directly into your compost heap again as an organic matter, and it will add lots of stuff into your compost. Now, if you've got a pestle and mortar in the house, and I've never done this, it's just what I hear on the grapevine. If you really mix it up into really fine powder, you can add it to washing up liquid, and it makes like a cream to be able to do some cleaning. Amazing, isn't it? And also, some people actually put it in. I don't know why. Make it into a facial cream, a bit of an exfoliant to help your skin revive. I've never done that, and I probably won't be doing that, however. So there's lots of different uses for the eggshells. Tomato plants absolutely love what they get from here, because what it does is it all of that lovely calcium and all of that lovely nutrients in the eggshells, it reduces the acid within the soil, and it helps the pH levels balance off a little bit more. A few years ago, I had 3 tomatoes, but actually in here, fair enough, did a bit of an experiment. One of the tomatoes didn't get any eggshells at all. The second one got eggshells in the bottom, and the third one got eggshells in the bottom and then on top as well. And I must admit, the 2 that had the eggshells did produce more tomatoes, and healthy looking tomatoes have great tasting tomatoes. So it really boosted the soil, boosted them and their growth. So very, very good, and generally very good for all plants. As you also know, I've talked in the past about eggshells being a preventative for your slugs and your snails. Well, I've found over the years that actually that doesn't work for me anyway. They seem to crawl across the top of them and still get to you. My cabbages and my brassicas, and they disappear overnight. So what I tend to do with those now, I use beer traps, or of course not just beer, but they want and they smell the yeast in the beer. So you can make a yeast trap. Very simple. Get some those little sachets of dried yeast, hot water, just a bit of sugar as well, or honey, again just to help it stick together. And then you just put it outside in your homemade slug traps, of which we will be looking at in another different video later on. So eggshells, but now another use for eggshells, believe it or not, you can put them directly onto your bird table, your feeds. You can actually get your bigger eggshells like this and crush them down, not too much actually, don't ultra crush them. And if you've got, and I've not got one, I've been looking all morning to see, I thought I'd got one lying around, like a bag, like a net bag, so the birds can get into it, or even a feeding station. Actually, you can put eggs into a feeding station so the birds can get at them, because they're really good. They really enjoy a good eggshell, believe it or not. So pop them around for your birds and they'll love it, because what's good about that is then it attracts birds onto your growing area, allotment, gardens, balconies, wherever you are, which means the birds will also later down the line start feeding off the pests, the aphids on the allotment that you don't need, the unbeneficial pests. As we know, there's lots of beneficial pests that come onto the allotment, but we don't want the aphids and all those things. So the birds will come in and they'll have a lovely summertime feeding off all of those aphids that want to eat and attack your plants. So yes, eggshells have a fantastic variety of uses, and they're all for free and not to pay. Brilliant stuff. It'll be interesting when this is fully covered, because this is not only will retain heat inside and become like my little greenhouse, but I can have a lovely shelf here. I can actually put pots on here and grow tomatoes on this side as well as the side, and all sorts of things actually. Butternut squashes. Now, once I was clearing this out, because I had to replace the end completely, of course I had to dig out the bank again, and I got again lots and lots. There's just a small proportion of it, of bindweed out of it, which is a good thing. So hopefully that will stop it encroaching into the greenhouse. There's a massive amount of bindweed here at this end under where the frame was I used to grow my radishes in, and well, that's going to be dug out because that's going everywhere. But there's loads of it, absolutely loads of it down there. And as you know, you leave one bit in, it will regrow. But the more you do, the more you cut back right to the soil, the more it runs out of energy and stops growing in that area. It's the only way to do it, to get rid of it properly. Anyway, just behind me here, you'll see, you probably just in the distance there, I've got my garlic. I've moved it outside. It's having a wonderful time. It's at the moment, it's obviously self-watering because it's chucking it down with rain most days. And well, let's hope it adds nice flavour to the garlic. It's doing really, really well. It's been great coming down to the allotment last few days. I know it's been raining, but that's in the mornings, and it sort of doesn't brighten up. It gets a bit like this, a bit grim. However, the birds have been out, and I've been trying that app. You know, I asked about, well, how can I find out which birds are singing and you know, which birds are around at the time? Well, it's called the Merlin app. Really enjoy using it. The only thing I not quite like, I have to keep having to input my email address every time I use it. So it doesn't store that information, but that's a small little query really. So I had a go. The first day I had a go, and it came up with this, a great tit. Isn't that fantastic? And you get a little picture, and then it records the sound, and then it will play back the sound to you. So it's really good, and then you can sit and listen to that, and it is absolutely brilliant. I've not gone deeper into, because I think you can look into the history of the birds and all those things. So the Merlin app that was recommended by a viewer, and I thank you for that. So I've tried it again. I tried it yesterday morning actually, and it got 2 birds. Absolutely brilliant. It got the house sparrow, and it got the European robin. So I now know I've got at least 3 birds on the allotment or near about the allotment. I definitely know I've got robins, because if I do any digging up, they pop up and start lingering around and hope they can come and find some worms and things like that. But amazing things. But yeah, what a brilliant app. The Merlin app it's called. I'm sure you can get an Android version. I'm using the iOS, the Apple version. Really, really brilliant. And I like it because it comes up with picture of the bird. So even if you can't see it and you hear it, at least you know what it looks like. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you for that. Thank you for that recommendation. And well, I just had to say hi to Ali in Canada. Thanks for your text, Ali. Apparently, when you did send that, I think it was just sometime last week, you sent me a text, and you still got snow. It's still absolutely freezing. You're hoping soon to get the snow will go and you can start moving into, well, spring or the end of winter at least, and the ground will take time to unfreeze, but then you can start obviously sowing stuff. And well, fingers crossed for that, Ali. We're thinking of you. As I say, you know, I talk about the British weather all the time, but at least we don't get snow for masses of periods of time. That year that we did it, minus 14 degrees in this country, everything ground to a halt. Let's hope we don't have any more of that here. In Yorkshire particularly. Could do with some nice warmer weather though, get things really motivated. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Hello and welcome once again to all the new subscribers. You can send messages, you can comment, please do so. I'll start giving out my email address soon, and then you can send pictures and photographs in of the things that you're growing too, and that'll be brilliant, and I can use them in the show. If you do, please do them landscape mode, because it's a lot easier when I'm doing the editing to pop them into the show than if they're landscape rather than vertical. If they are vertical, I have to try and make them in landscape, and it gets a bit complicated, but we can do it. But yeah, landscape will be fantastic. So I'll see you next time here, hopefully a little warmer, on Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Ta-ra for now.